How we doing today, my friends? Not a history hunter. I was on my way to go do a little walkabout exploration to a site I know outside of De Leon Springs, and I'm cutting through the back part of De Leon right now. It's rare that you come across large pieces of land when they come up on the market, but this is a pretty good sized piece of land. Adjacent properties, some kind of monastery, monks or something. I think at one time that this is probably ferneries. There's still a building out there, and take a little walk a little further out into the property. Looks like somebody's been doing work, or at least has been driving through here, because it's all matted down. Maybe they were in here felling trees. Might have been dangerous. Looks like they're doing some clearing next door too. So all of this out here is all the property. It's really a good sized piece. And I think we're gonna just take the time out, and we're gonna go walk the entire perimeter. Looks like it's gonna be about a 15-minute walk here. So I do see evidence to the right there where they would have had look, there's a road cutting through there too. Looks like they had some kind of pump. I see something that looks like a wellhead back there. Yeah, definitely a wellhead of some sort. Let's go back to exploring the outer perimeter of the property. Look, I see a fall off going down a hill. There are chickens off in the distance. A lot of native plants here. I'm not exactly sure what this one is right here. But it gets these little things on it that look like string beans. And of course the yellow flowers. And that attracts all kinds of moss butterflies. Yeah, it looks like it settles back into woods. And then there's a back gate property. Looks like this might be somebody else's land back here. But yeah, this is definitely a property line right here. Somebody's got a back gate on it. So I'm wondering if it's part of the property. It may be. They may own all of that right there too, because it's really wild. Inside the fence line hasn't been really maintained much. Looks like at the base of that bottom there's a dry out pond. Get back into this opening here. Always enjoy it when I see new pine trees growing. Those are not palm trees. That's the Florida State butterfly. Look it up. Actually, it's not really the Florida State butterfly. I like to consider it one of them. The actual legitimate one is the long-winged zebra, or zebra long-wing. The beautiful elongated wings, almost dragonfly shaped, with very bold black and white markings on the wings. That's the real official Florida butterfly. As I had suspected, this is total prime golfer tortoise habitat. Looks like this may have been used as a road at one time. Let's keep going down the hill. I imagine if people were into like agro or something, they would enjoy this property. I find it sterile because there's no trees. I mean, you look there, you see trees. You look out there, you see trees. But then you got this whole area with no trees. A lot of sunshine, and I'm sure that they were growing something here at some time. It's almost a given. Those people got a really cool vintage camper over there. It's an old gooseneck. Looks like the company that makes scampers. It looks like some kind of fiberglass design. So you can get a closer look at that. Oh yeah, that's cool. I bet you that thing hasn't been on the highway in years. Look at that baby. It's a gooseneck, so it's built like a split level. It's got a level. And up the top of the gooseneck, it's got another level. I don't know if there's a clear path over closer to it or not. I'm going to say no. Getting thicker and thicker out there. But oddly, I don't see any evidence other than that big well out there in the pump, holding tank, of what they would have grown here. Because there's no, usually when you grow vegetables and fruit, and, I don't know, soybean and all that stuff, you always get some rogues that escape the field. And so one would expect to see that out here, and we're not seeing any evidence of that whatsoever. Now I am seeing all of a sudden this, and this is the, I know everybody's going to say, hey, pine trees, conifers don't have leaves, but this is what's known as the longleaf pine, because really, really, really long, look at them, drooping needles, but it's known as the longleaf. And so what I'm seeing as we're getting up into this little high ridge area is they seem to be deliberately planted. Yeah, this is too much of this whole area right here. And this is what happens. I'll get down here so you guys can better see this, but when a pine cone evades being chewed up and it's able to get embedded into the ground, right there, it's only down about 2 fingers. You got a new pine tree happening here. There's one, there's one, there's one. And then we can follow the growth. And finally, look at this one here, which is, you know, in the 10 foot tall range. And this one kind of looks like this one right here. The length of the needles. Look at that. The needles are only coming off of the trunk right now, and it's shaped like a, almost like a Christmas tree, needing water. So that's the longleaf pine. Even though pine trees don't actually have leaves, that's what they call it. And then I did notice that there was a little bit of a, let's backtrack here. I'm not sure what this is, but it reminds me of a decorative fill plant that they put in arrangements called status, like purple status. And it gets these nice insects on it. But I'm not going to say that that's what that plant is. There's a mighty old oak, and this is looks like a laurel oak. Let's go look at it closely. I'm assuming it probably is a laurel oak, which means it's standing on the graces from above, because their life expectancy is less than 100 years. I mean, not to say it's unusual that one wouldn't make it that long, but Florida had some kind of boar, I don't know if it was a boar beetle or something that was attacking oak trees decades ago, and they chose to ignore the situation, and thus created a whole industry for the tree people, because you were getting giant oaks like this that were just dropping down in people's yards, on people's houses. Every time there was a wind blow or storm, they'd come crashing down because the heart of the tree had been attacked by these insects. You know, it wasn't unusual to have a tree the circumference of, let's say, like a plastic kiddie pool, and more than half of the middle of it's completely missing, and it's just the outer structure like that. You know, on a tree that's 100 feet tall, it's totally hollow, however hollow is. There's nothing, and these things just collapse on themselves. Most of this part of Florida was basically almost like a beach sand and these pine trees. And it's not unusual to get pine trees that are like that in circumference. You know, if you can actually see it. There are some that survived. A lot of them went into for the industry for building Central Florida and beyond Florida. They harvest well, by the chimes it's 3 o'clock and all is well. The impending storm is lingering off in the distance. So we're back to exploring this. So we just came out of the large open meadow area. And we're back under the tree canopy again. And then you see the trees are sort of in a line. So it may be hard to see it, but there's a line, and it's all fragmented now because this area saw a few hurricanes and kind of the blow, but most of the lines are missing, but there's one right there. And this is where they would have raised ferns normally, but again, usually when you're in a fernery, you would still see evidence of ferns because they tend to escape the gardens and cultivation. Let's keep exploring up in here. This is interesting. See another well, and that looks like a drinking well. Okay, here we go. So we got we do have a drinking well and a slab. There's a drinking well. There's a slab for, assuming was a house. Good size too. see if a walkabout can disclose a little history about this place. And this is interesting. Look at this down here. I totally enjoy when I find a piece of glass like that. And then look at this. This is kind of interesting too, because this is looking like a medicine bottle in its generic form, of course. I'm off camera here. In its generic form, but this is back like in the shape where they were doing the cork tops. And you know, companies maintain using those bottles into the screw top era, and beyond. You know, 1970s, you could still buy some herbal remedies, you know, like mentholatums and rubs that still came in that shape of bottle. But that's going to be a keeper. Where am I finding that? Like right here, did I see that? I'm going to pick it up. Let me stick that in our bag. And again, in true form, we got another record-breaking hot day here. Coming down. Look at that. Charcoal. And it's a piece of wood. Looks like the top of a jelly jar with a pop metal lid. It's so hot, I am just totally sweating like crazy. And it's not even, the sun isn't out, but as a long time Floridian, it doesn't need to be out on account of the intensity of the UV light. It has something to do with refraction, I think. As it goes through the cloud cover, it scatters the UV light, takes it off its normal direct rays that they come in and then they hit the atmosphere, and then they do whatever their zigzag scatter that creates the radiant heat, and that burns the living daylights out of you when you're out at the beach and all, or in the water, where the surface below you is a direct reflection of the UV light, and so you kind of get radiated from both directions. I'm seeing a lot of, an animal digging. Look, there's a shovel, and look, what they do? They turned up another piece of that nice blue transfer wear. And am I seeing another one possibly? This is looks like it's part of a rose teapot. Huh, interesting. I'm seeing more and more. Look, there's another piece right there, and another piece. I'm seeing blue glass too. The infamous blue millions. So look at that. That's got gilt around the top. And this looks like it's part of a sugar decanter, maybe. Related to that, possibly. Just haven't been tarnished from being wet because it was down this way. possibility. Interesting. I see something else right up in there too. Let's see what that is. Some kind of rock fragment. So did I say it was hot? How hot? Hot. Like how hot? Like you could boil water on the ground. I don't know. Very hot. It's plastic. I want to guess it's 96, 100% humidity. Heat index 104. Maybe heat index 105. I'm not doing any digging. It's all surface lines, all stuff that's been dug by the animals. Whew. I just said it was hot, didn't I? Man, it's so hot, I'm melting. Melting. This tree's growing right over the structure now. It was outside the wall. Now these two are starting to push their way in. Yeah, it was right through here where all the trash starts. Just in this zone. There's another piece of blue. Blue. More charcoal. So you know what, my friends? It's time we go get into skedaddling before I gotta get a whole case of paper towels to soak myself up, carrying myself out of here. Because it is hot, man, very hot. Let's slowly work our way back. But we're gonna go check out this structure right here, which it's like, what? Wait a minute, how is it that survived? So let's go see what this is. That's a big hole right there. That looks like a well. Or it might have been where there was a tree that fell over. We're gonna come over here.